Hello, and a very good evening to all of you. Thank you very much for joining in. We are waiting for more participants to join us, but since we have to be punctual, we should start now. I'm just going to close my other applications and we will make a soft beginning. I hope all of you doing fine, and I hope all of you enjoyed the last session. Hope you found it informative. Today, we're going to build up on that last session and we're going to continue our discussion about the 30-second introduction. Then we're going to move on to asking the right questions and a few other very important uh, uh, topics to be discussed. There are two more things that we have to discuss today, and that is I'll show you two videos today. So one is of, and one is related to introductions, and the other is related to asking the right questions. And I'm going to ask you to comment on, these two videos. But remember, this session is also going to be equally interactive, and so your participation is definitely going to make a lot of difference. Um, so, in order to make a beginning, I think we can begin with a you know or all right, let's do it that way. We can begin with uh, we're going to begin with, sorry, was a bit of disturbance. Um, Recapping the last session. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So recapping the last session. So Um, I'm going to share the questions window with you people so that you can see each other's answers. But please start typing in the questions dialog box. So what were the three most important takeaways for you from the last session? Three most important takeaways for you from the last session. So let's begin with that. You should be able to see the questions dialog box in front of you. Uh, Please let me know if you are able to see the questions dialog box. I think I have to start sharing for that. Thank you, Zair. Ikra, are you able to see the desktop now? See the questions box now? Great, thank you. Excellent. All right. So Uzair Ahmed is straight onto the subject. He's saying how to properly introduce yourself, and then he says be specific. Let me make a suggestion. When you write too many comments in the questions box, as you can see, Uzair has made two comments, but they are, I mean, I can't relate them because there are other messages that came in between. So I would always suggest write a comprehensive one question and then move on to the next subject. Okay, so just like Ellison has done, for example. Thank you, Ellison. Um, so that's let me try and read these comments, and at the same time I will open microphones of some individuals and ask them as well of what their uh, key takeaways were. Three most important takeaways for you from the last session. I will be happy if you can raise hands as well if you want to share your opinion verbally. It will be interesting to come on live and share it with the audience. In the meanwhile, I'm going to read some of the comments that have been made. So, like I said, Uzair has said number one, how to properly introduce. Properly is one term, yes, but then 30-second introduction or an elevator pitch is what we were calling. The other was be specific. Then Alina is writing. She's saying introduction is about what you can bring to the organization, not the list of your qualification or organizations. Exactly, that's very important. Um, you know, uh, you have to talk about your strengths, your core skills, your expertise, and do not resort too much on brands and names and qualifications and designations. Don't bring those in. And today we're going to look at a few examples also. Last time a few of you wanted to see some live examples of how could a good introduction look like. So I have picked up a few introductory 30-second introductions from the web, but we're going to discuss them. I mean, we will not take them exactly as mentioned, but we're going to discuss. What do you think about them? What do you think they've hit the nail at the head, or they are, haywire? So we'll see that. All right, let's move on. Muzaffar Hussain has said that value addition, yes, and we're going to look at an example of how people talk about value addition in their 30-second introductions. Allison said the importance of my introduction, yes, and number two, how loving myself affects the way I behave. Very important point. Thank you very much, Allison. Love yourself. Do you love yourself? Did you do that routine today, or did you just thought it was, some content in the, in the training and therefore not as important? It is extremely important. Okay. The Jamal Hussain, thank you. You've just joined. Pooja is saying that you learned how to add value while introducing, no repetition, new terminology. Exactly. Use the new terminology, not the old jargons. Anas Khan, how to introduce yourself, how to implement ideas. Okay, idea implementation, we talked about it. You don't get to pay, to bring ideas to the table. You get to implement them. I mean, you get paid to implement them. And the third one was love yourself. Thank you, Anas. Thank you very much. Ellison, once again, the importance of having an open mindset. Very, very important. Open, and we termed it as a growth mindset. Importance of having a growth mindset. Okay, so that's very key. Thank you very much for bringing that in. Muzaffar Hussain saying self-assessment and collaboration. Okay, collaboration was a skill that we looked at. I'm going to talk about those skills once again. Then Nipa Hazra is saying expertise and value. Yes. So we talked about some of the expertise. We talked about Career Navigator. What core skills and expertise does that highlight? They need to work on. We looked at the terminology being used. I hope most of you got some time to explore the Career Navigator, as I told you last time. If you have, please type that in. And what did you find there? Please share with us in the session. So far, nobody has raised a hand. So I'm still looking at the raise hand thing. And if you want to come in and contribute verbally, you're most welcome. Okay, moving on. Love myself, core competencies, value addition. And this was Shahzeb Khan. Thank you, Shahzeb. Yes, that's very true. Use professional jargons to introduce yourself, not use yourself, introduce yourself. Thank you, Nadia. And Zahra is saying, when introducing oneself, it is important to share expertise that will provide value. Good mindset, tool set, skill set. This was Zahra again. Yes. And we said that if you have the right mindset, the tool set and skill set will automatically find their place and get, and you'll get to seize them. But if you don't have the right mindset, then whatever tool set or skill set you may have, there's a very strong chance it will go waste. Is there any chance if you could increase the font size, please? I'm so sorry, Khazar Ahmed Khan. I know I'm finding it difficult to read myself, but I normally use very, very high screen resolution, and that's why the font size is a little small. Hopefully next time when we meet, I'll run this session from my office and we will not face this issue there. By the way, we have a huge power breakdown in my area. So I am on battery supply. So I hope we are able to pull the session through for the next 2 hours. So hopefully, it all goes well. Okay. Next is be expressive in your thoughts, and hence prime mindset of is of prime. Your mindset is of prime importance. Excellent. That's exactly what we just discussed. Be assertive, but be open to criticism. All right, and this was Aisha Munir. The good advice, this was a good advice, and precisely, yes, I mean, criticism, if it is positive, if it is taken positively, it's always useful. But the way most of us treat criticism is uh, we get offended, we get bogged down by that criticism rather than trying to improve ourselves. We start looking backwards. We start looking at that person with the mindset that why has this person done any damage to you, even though the intention may be good. And all right, can you not hear me? I mean, Israt is saying that cannot hear me. And can you hear me? Please say yes or no. Core competencies in introducing yourself. Okay, thank you very much. Israt, can you please go and check your audio connectivity or your internet connectivity? We didn't get the recording link. Oh, Sumbul, I have just checked with GoToWebinar and we've found out that GoToWebinar is saying that we will not be able to send the video link after every session, so we'll have to do that manually. I now have a new colleague working with me. He'll most probably be joining us today. His name is Feroz Mohammed. So Feroz is going to join us today, and he will be helping you with most of the work that finding it difficult to do. So we'll see how to have the recording link available. I have both the recording links available, by the way. So if you want that, I can paste it here in the chat. Okay, sorry about that, Sumbu. Okay, Muhammad Norez is saying his grandfather passed away, not able to join the last session. So sorry to hear that, Norez. I hope his soul rests in peace. Our sympathies with you. Yes, I'm going. Like I said, I'm going to share the recording link with you in a little bit over here. Okay. Growth mindset introduction with focus on value addition. Yes, Nadia, thank you very much for reminding. Fail fast. But fail fast also means that you have to pick up yourself even faster, learn the lessons, and go on and try again. Yeah. And that's why if you take too long to fail, and that means you're not learning your lessons right. Criticism needs to be constructive. It will be more receptive. All right. Thank you very much. That's what we said. Value addition, love yourself, collaboration, focus. WhatsApp group, Khazer, yes, we will be working on that. Like I said, my colleague who's joined me is going to be setting up those groups, and we'll share them with you, in a few days' time, hopefully next week. And that's what he said. Next week, we're going to set up those groups. Introduction is a chance to tell someone of your missions, your objectives, your qualities, yes, and slash strengths. Moreover, telling how to convert your qualities for value creation would be fantastic too. Okay, exactly. Thank you very much. I have a hand raised. Thank you very much, Zishan Aslam. Let's move to the hand raises. In fact, 3 or 4 hand raises. So let's begin with Zishan first. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to share some slides with you and showing some results of the survey that we conducted. I'm also going to share the agenda for today with you. But let's first listen from Zishan. Yes, Zishan, you have been unmuted. Please unmute yourself and speak. There you go. Zishan Aslam. Yes, Zishan Aslam. Zishan, can you hear us? You've lowered your hand now. Okay, if that's the case, let's move on to Muzaffar Hossain. Muzaffar, you have been unmuted. Please speak. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam. Muzaffar, you've joined us from Bangladesh?
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Yes, please go on. Your key takeaways, 3 key takeaways from the last session.
First of all, I would like to say about the assessment that we have made on ourselves, that was answering some question about ourselves, through which we try to understand what is our strength and where we need to make some improvement, like in part of tax and regulatory area. We have seen that most of us showed that we are not confident about our skills and knowledge. That was one part.
And thank you very much for bringing that up. We're just going to have a look at the key results from that survey, and I mean, very surprising. I'll share those. I'll share my assessment of the of the survey results with you when we show you the slides. So thank you very much. Anything else that you wanted to mention?
No, sir. Yeah, it's all.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. We're just going to have a look at those slides, and in those slides we have the results of the survey. Asad Rafiq, I'm going to unmute you. Please unmute yourself. You have the control now and speak. Asad Rafiq, and then Makhazar Ahmed. Yes, Asad, I can see your mic going green. You can speak now. Asad, we can't hear you if you're speaking. It looks like your microphone is not working. So, okay, I'm going to leave you unmuted. Try that your microphone works. In the meanwhile, we go to Makhazar. Okay, unmuted. Makhazar, please go on.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Makhazar, thank you very much for joining us. Yes, please go on.
Thank you for giving me a chance. I wanted to highlight that we have learned about two sides of mind, which were one side was creative and other was logical. That was a very great self-assessment for me, myself.
All right.
After that, I learned about mindset, skill set, and tool set, and how they relate to each other. And third, most importantly, I learned what I usually done wrong in interviews. That was introduction part.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So let's now, thank you. You can put yourself back on mute. Let's now move on to my slides, and I'm just going to share the presentation with you. Here we go. I'm going to roll up this. I'm going to put my video away, and you should now be able to see the slideshow. Here we go. All right. So, in fact, let me check if I'm sharing the slideshow with you rather than, yeah, this one. Okay, so here we go. So today's agenda, it's up on your screen right now. Let me move this screen away as well. The warning, people can see you, I know. All right, so first of all, recap, we've just done that. We spent about 20 minutes on that. Second, we're going to watch a video by Amin Tufani. Look at introductions, look at body language, look at confidence, look at modesty, look at expertise, skills, humility. You notice all those things in the video. Number 3 is we're going to move on to introduction on social media. So far we've talked about verbal introductions, a written introduction, but now we're going to move on to introduction on social medias. And then we are also going to look at what would be the objective of your LinkedIn profile. If you're creating a LinkedIn profile, there could be multiple objectives. How do they differ from each other, and therefore what purpose can they serve? Similarly, when you're adding people to your network on LinkedIn, do you judge them first? Do you see if they're going to help you build your professional network and achieve your objectives, or is it going to be a difficult situation to deal with this afterwards? So and we'll discuss some scenarios as well. Then we're going to talk about the desired lifestyle, and regarding that desired lifestyle, we are going to ask ourselves these two questions: what is that desired lifestyle, and why is it the desired lifestyle? And then we'll talk about setting our goal. Okay, moving on, we'll also talk about multiple introductions. So if, let's suppose, we've so far we talked about just one, very nicely written, very strong, punchy, powerful introduction, but we'll also look at various other types of introductions for professional reasons, or if you're introducing yourself at the board level, which is very, very senior level, and this will be useful for you going on in your career. Introducing yourself to a client, or introducing yourself to develop a connection. So there are multiple objectives or reasons for which you need to make your introduction, a 30-second introduction statement, and that is what we will discuss today as well. Then going on, build opinions through articulation. So your articulation matters a lot, and people build opinions on the basis of that. So we'll talk about that, and then people, on the basis of that articulation, on the basis of that opinion, they assign a dollar value to you of your opinion. So we're going to talk about that. Then body language, how is it important? Then we're going to move on to why a clear and specific communication level with the appropriate, not too much, but appropriate level of detail. Why is it important? And asking yourself the right questions: what and why versus how. And we're going to talk about how do they differ and what would each one of them mean. And last but not the least, again, extending on the type of questions, we're going to talk about what other questions can you ask yourself in any situation, right? And therefore, get to the right outcome that you would set for yourself. So this is our today's agenda. You're going to, I'm sure, enjoy it. But before going on to the video, I have a couple of introductions that I picked up from the social media, rather from a website, and we're going to talk about it. Remember, we talked about strengths. We talked about placing a value to your skills and capabilities, right? And how have you delivered that value? So let's first of all read this first 30-second introduction. And I'm not saying that this is the most perfect introduction, but you can comment about it. And once we've read the first one, we'll go back to questions and we'll read your comments there. So if you pick up anything interesting, please be very specific. Type in the comments, the questions box there, and we're going to discuss it. It says, here goes. My name is Mark Marvelous, and I am graduating with my bachelor's degree in marketing in December. So the person is still studying or towards achieving, towards the last leg of the degree program. I am a member of American Marketing Association and gained hands-on experience working with the Market Research Center last summer. In 2016, I competed in a business development competition with a tour of 4, and my team took second place. I am a member of XYZ fraternity and maintain our social media pages and outreach website. In the last 2 years, I have increased our membership by 20%. I work well on teams, have excellent communication skills, and I'm currently looking for a full-time marketing position. Okay, we stop here and we go to your comments. What do you think about this introduction? What do you think would you want to improve if you were to make this introduction? Okay, Hassan Riaz, Sajid Aslam is going to join from next week. He's still traveling, and once he comes back, he's going to be here. He's going to, be joining us in the next few sessions. All right. So, isn't it too long for 30 seconds? That was the first comment. Zara, fine. That's a good comment. It could be more specific. It could be made more concise. But it was more or less 30 seconds. It could be more punchy. I agree with you there. Excellent. Thank you very much. It is incorporating a number to value. Exactly. And that's what I was talking to you yesterday about. It has to be a value that was driven. So 20% increase in the membership. They were running a social media platform, talking about his achievements straight away. I mean, this person spent about only half a sentence talking about, or in fact, one sentence talking about his name and his qualification. And straight after that, he went on to discuss his strengths. So his membership for the American Marketing Association, that's where the academic introduction ends, and then starts talking about experience. Okay. And the rest of the paragraph is all about experience, skills, and value delivered. Okay. I've particularly picked up those introductions, which are not delivered by senior professionals. These are delivered by students. Okay. Students who are at a level where they're seeking jobs. Okay. Moving on. Let me see if there are more comments. No brand names. Excellent, Faizan. Good pick. There were no brand names mentioned. Yeah. And okay, objectives are not clear, not specific. Okay, Anas, thank you. It is not concise, Omer. I agree. Too many words, too lengthy. I think the student, it's a good introduction. I think there should be description of default inborn characteristics, as he's in marketing. Okay, and should have marketing domain, I think, and has mentioned that I am an extrovert and a member of American Marketing Association, etc. I think if it's not too much about abilities or capabilities that you were born with, as opposed to what you gained over the over the course of your education, I would not be too much interested in that detail. As long as you're able to pick up your best strengths, put your best foot forward, and try and make a very sound impact on the basis of that, it should be good enough. So let me hear from you once again. I'm going to move that question window away. If you were there, which part of the introduction will you omit or not include in your introduction? So first of all, it's about, the first half a sentence or one sentence is about the qualification, right? Can you omit that? I don't think so. Then the next one is about hands-on working experience with the Marketing Research Center. Okay, I think that's also necessary. The third is about a business development competition, and through which he's trying to prove that number one, he's won a competition. He's mentioned that. Then he's talking about a team of 4. So he's mentioning that he's done some teamwork. He's good at teamwork. And then he's talked about the position that he's gained. I think that's fair. A member of XYZ fraternity and maintain a social media pages and outreach website. Okay. Okay. So, and then, putting a value to what this person has delivered to the XYZ fraternity in the last 2 years. The 20% increase in membership. So putting a value. I will work on teams, have excellent communication skills. Okay. And I'm currently looking for a full-time marketing position. What do you think should be taken out? looking at questions. What would you leave out if it were you? Academic introduction, membership of the American Marketing Association, work with the research center, or the competition, or the fraternity. What will you leave out? Yes, Zahra, thank you. So if teamwork has already been communicated, that was repetition. It could have been omitted. All after the first sentence, Murtaza? Really? Okay. Academic qualification, Ellison, yes, but then if you're a fresh graduate, if you've just recently come out of, or you're about to graduate, in that case you would want to mention it. Once you have graduated, then worked for a number of years, then you would straight away jump onto that I'm a marketing professional, right? And in fact, if I have that marketing credential to myself, I'll straight away I'll make this marketing professional a much stronger terminology. Yeah. So that is what I would do if I were to write it. I have about 20 years of experience. So but then if a person is coming out fresh, probably at that stage somebody needs to mention it. We also have to keep in mind of what variants of this introduction can exist. So this is probably an introduction that has been written for seeking a job. If it is for networking, I think it could have been slightly different, could have been much different. Okay, Zishan is saying nothing, it's perfectly fine, nothing should be removed. It covers almost all areas which defines him. Okay. What if a student lacks experience to share expertise relevant to the industry she's pursuing? Zahra, that's a very important thing. But then, it's for you to figure out what strength of yours will complement the work that you're trying to gain. So if it is not exactly that skill that you want to present, then it's a complementing skill that you'll have to then bring forward. Okay, so I think that was the first one. I think good understanding of what should the introduction entail. I think just because I was reading it a little slow, if I would read it in a rhythm, in a speed, I think it should be about 15 seconds, which is fine. Yeah. But, I would put pauses in there. I would make sure that I receive the body language when I'm making an introduction. I would make sure that I am capturing attention. If I am not, I'll change the pitch, change the delivery, change content. So you have to be prepared for that. But if you go onto the website and you read about your 30-second introduction, or you read about elevator pitches, there is a lot written about it. And everybody will tell you that these should be well written and well rehearsed, not to be downloaded when you are sitting in front of the person and trying to introduce yourself. It should not be downloaded then. It should be on your fingertips. You should be rehearsed in front of the mirror, and you should deliver it in a very, very confident way. Okay, I'm just going to read the last couple of comments, and then we'll move on to the next introduction. Asad is saying, I think the name should not be mentioned. Okay, like if the interviewer asks you to introduce yourself, she will call out your name first. All right. So yes, Asad, if it is an interview fashion, then of course you don't need to mention your name. It's written there that they would all know your name. It's okay if you just mention your first name, because if, let's suppose, the interviewers are interviewing multiple individuals, it's perfectly all right to mention your first name so that they can relate to who they're going to interview next. I mean, this is just helpful. But if it is otherwise, it could be skipped as well. Another situation where it could be skipped would be, we're going to look at it in the video that I'm going to show you. As per Zara's question, knowledge of industry and company in which candidate is applying. she may find some skills complementing the goals or missions. Thank you very much, Shahzeb. I'm sure Zara will agree there. And Anas is saying, we talk about connections. How can we be connected from now onward with each other? Oh, all right, okay. All right. Anas, I already said in the beginning that we're going to have our WhatsApp network, WhatsApp group in the next week. I said that I've been joined by a colleague who's going to help me with my with operational support in managing the group, in managing the 6 Digits program. In fact, he is here in the session with us. Oh, he's just gone offline. So just as he comes back online, I'll ask him to show himself. So that should be useful. Okay. Yes. I mean, we're going to talk about other things later. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is, my name is Dandan Zhu, which means person is Chinese. I studied finance and strategic management at Babson College. For the last 5 years, I was a headhunter developing client and candidate relationship to fill niche roles across all levels, including executive search for the life sciences industry. Due to my success at a top billing recruiter, I've now left the corporate world to start my own coaching company, Dandan Global, helping professionals understand, navigate, and leverage the recruitment process to achieve the life and career they envision. All right. What about this one? This person who has gained some experience, the person who has, who probably has accounting, is financial management, finance and strategic management qualification. Just look at the depth or the detail about the academic qualification. It's very little, less than a sentence. Yeah, straight away jumps on to experience, straight away jumps on to skills, capabilities, expertise, and then straight away jumps on to value addition. Yep. Okay, Uzair thinks this was a bit more specific. Thank you. Zara thinks that this was, I mean, this introduction used punching words. I agree. This was much stronger. In fact, my delivery was also a little different, was a little punchy, but so you see, in this particular case, I think the reason person mentioned the name of the organization in the second case was because it was Dandan's own organization, and therefore, one of the objectives of this introduction could be, I mean, this is not a job search kind of a situation. This is a sale of services, right? And therefore, a brand, was being carried along just because, this lady or this individual represented that brand. So, so in that situation, I think it's appropriate to mention a few brand names, or in fact your own brand name that you represent. So I think this was just an example. I'm sure you're going to look at these examples yourself, and for your session on Saturday, this is going to be one assignment. You're going to write 3 introductions about yourself. 3 introductions. One for networking purposes, particularly if you're meeting an individual, you're simply networking and you're building your network. Number 2, for professional reasons, if you're introducing yourself for professional reasons, right? And number 3, let it be job seeking, hardcore, simple job seeking introduction, right? So 3 introductions. You're going to write these down, and in the next week on Tuesday, when we talk to each other, we are going to look at what you've written. Okay, so that should be some interesting contribution. Okay, all right. Saad, sorry, you keep deviating. Saad, Sayed Saad, if you have your December exams, I've already said in the previous session, please pay attention to your exams. Those are more important. This session, you can watch recordings afterwards. And sorry, Adil, I'll come back to the assignment part later. But Saad, you can come back to these sessions afterwards. You can watch the recordings, but your exams are more important this stage. You can conveniently skip a few sessions till the time you've done your exams, and then you can come back. Okay. Okay, Adil, I was talking about 3 introductions that you have to write for yourself. One is for general networking. Second is for professional network, for professional reasons. And the third is for job seeking. Okay. Precise difference between professional and job seeking. Yes, there's a thin line. Yeah. In job seeking, you have to be more, you probably have to verbalize that you're looking for an opportunity, but you have to put it in very, very specific terms, in very specific words. Okay, very carefully chosen words. Very simple statements that I am looking for a job, or I am jobless, or I don't have a job right now. These are very, very negative connotations and negative terms. You never say such things. How can you sugarcoat it and then put it forward, which sort of doesn't make you sound like as if you're begging for a job? I mean, that's the difference that I would want to see. Professional is if you're a professional and you're connecting yourself. I mean, professionally selling your services. Yeah, just like we've read that in the second introduction, or selling some product that you developed, you have developed, and talking about that. Third is job seeking, which is purely looking for a job opportunity. I hope, Aisha, this explains the difference between the two. Okay, we will repeat this after the session is over. Okay, so now we're going to go and watch that video. But before that, let me share the results of your survey with you. Okay, so as you can see, the stronger colors, the dark colors, are your strengths. The red and the ambers are the areas where people wanted more support to be available. Okay, or more content to be delivered on those lines. So advisory and consultancy, and audit and assurance. And on the contrary, if you look at the strength side, people mostly talked about performance management as their strengths and taxation as another strength. So that's interesting. And then if you look at core skills, I mean, the top few um, uh, statements are your expertise, which which were a part of the survey. The last 6 or 7 are your core skills. So if you can see my mouse pointer, from this point down, they're all the core skills, and from this point, from above this point, they're all the expertise. Okay, and if you look at the core skills now, digital turns out to be a core skill that most of you are interested in, and you want developed. And at the same time, sustainability is another key area where you would want some content to be delivered. Now look at how different this is from the session, from the feedback provided by our members. Okay, so the next screen is our members. Straight away, taxation. Yeah. And then the next one is sustainability, which is somewhat common. Okay, and if you look at the core skills side, they're straight away talking about insight, and they're saying that their ethics side is very, very strong already, right? So let's find where the skills that you've rated high, where are they in, where are the members at in those cases? So it was performance management right here in the middle. Yeah, but then when you're talking about future members, they're saying that performance management is already their forte. I mean, they already have some good competencies, some good expertise in this area. Okay, so see how different both are. I think this was interesting, so it's just thought of sharing with you. But let's now go on to our video. So the video is going to come up on your screens in a bit. If you're unable to see the video, of course most of you will be able to see it, but if you have a weaker internet connection, just go and search Amin Toofani, AMINTOOFANI on YouTube, and you will get the video there. This is easily locatable. Okay, so here we go. I'm putting myself on mute. Okay. How did you find this video? Comments. Ikra, all right. Okay. Yeah, Hamza, thank you. I know if you know I didn't want you to pay attention to the lyrics as such, but today we were looking at a different element of this video. Can't hear me, Aisha. Others, can you hear me? Please confirm if you can hear me. Yes, all right, okay. Thank you. Aisha, please check connectivity on your end. All right, so what do you think? What was that introduction like? What was the body language? What was did he have to introduce himself? When his name was being announced, there was a lot of enthusiasm already in the audience. That means that he's already somebody who's known and his performance was known. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Confident and to the point. I mean, his little speech that he delivered. What about that? You notice the choice of words there? Yeah. Very specific and very strong words. Yeah. What else? What do you think about the body language? What do you think about the attire? Yes, Hamza, thank you very much. He was pretty humble. Did anybody pick up humor? Did you pick up humor? Precise speech, enough to grasp the attention. Yes. Humor. Did anybody pick that up? When he was mentioning his humor, are friendships which will outlast our popularity, probably, is it? Was it so? Fame. Our friendship which will outlast our fame. Yeah. So what do you think about that sentence? He said, fine, we all know that we are going to be famous. That's a given. But our friendships will last longer than that. So just look at the way that sentence was said. Yeah. Our friendships which will outlast our fame. Yeah, okay, Muzaffar. I think he made up his hair in the middle of the playing the guitar, but I mean that was a very, very confident move once again. Yeah, you don't normally see that happening, even in a professional setting. But no, that was very, very. I would say, showed confidence, showed preparedness. Yeah, those two things at least. What else? Anything else that you picked up? So yes, he was enjoying it himself. It was his expertise. He was known for it. He has a repo already. Most of the people knew that he's expert at it, and that's why he had an advantage. In most of the situations when people don't know, you have to prove it. You have to show an evidence, and only then, or otherwise, you have to surprise people with your performance. So that's what would happen. Exactly, Nadia. No drum rolls needed. Exactly. I picked that up as well. What was that thing about Moise? Sort of held the guitar the other way around. He was trying to play with his other hand. So what was that about? Was that humor? Was that confidence? Was that capturing attention? Humor, okay. Yeah. And then when he started, he actually showed his expertise all of a sudden when he turned it around. This is Amin Tufani. Sheikh Mohammed, I can't read your full name. Sheikh Mohammed Waqas. It's Amin Tufani. Okay, so just search for Amin Tufani on YouTube and get quite a few of his videos. Seizing audience attention, confidence, capturing attention, humor, preparedness. What do you think about that? Was he prepared? Was he prepared? I think prepared and rehearsed. Prepared and rehearsed. So that was an important takeaway from this. Yeah. So when you're being introduced, like I said, you don't download material then. You're already prepared. What do you think about his speech? Was he prepared there? Yes, prepared and rehearsed. So I think preparation was very, very evident. It was very, very evident. Yeah. I'm sure because he would, I mean, this would have taken months for preparation. Spontaneity. Yeah. Okay. I think the 2 or 3 things that he brought in, combing his hair, holding the guitar the other way, that indicated spontaneity. Consistency, yes. There was no weak moments in the performance. Practice makes perfect, exactly. So I think that was the element that we wanted to discuss. Of course, his guitar, the music that he played, that was very, very interesting. But then this time we were focusing more on other elements, other hidden elements in that video, and they were really, really important. What do you learn from these when you're doing your own introduction? Those are the points. So body language, attire, confidence, humor. Humor is very, very important. I'll tell you one thing: if you don't have humor, humor can help you in some very tense, difficult situations also. Okay, if God forbid you fumbled up, if you've made a mistake, humor can save you from humiliation. Yeah. So some good, professional humor. Exactly. Thank you, Murtaza. Humor can diffuse tension, but the humor has to be of a standard. I mean, you can't hit below the belt. You can't, share a cheap joke or something. But you have to be very, very subtle with humor. If you don't have the skill, and found out that the most of the accountants are introverts and therefore they lack that capability, it's important that you try and build that capability, but in a very professional way, and see that it comes to your rescue in difficult situations. Sarcastic, okay. Witty and sarcastic. Yeah, witty and humor, I would say one thing. So that's a very important thing. Other messages from from the video that you've picked up. Other messages. So I think we've touched upon it all. So when you're doing your introduction, and like I said to you, what you have to do is when you've written your introduction, stand in front of the mirror and try to deliver it. Imagine you are Amin Tufani and you're delivering it. So try to sort of wear the same confidence. Try to complement it with expressions, with humility, right? So try doing all those, and then on Saturday when you're meeting your friends and your group mates, try and share that that introduction the same way, if you can. You will get your on in Microsoft Teams you will get an option to show your video, show your mute and unmute yourself, so that will not be an issue. But try doing that on Saturday when you do. Okay, next up, let me get rid of this. Can we? Yeah. Okay, back to the agenda. And next up, we're going to talk about social media.
All right. Okay, next up is introduction on social media. I think introduction on social media is equally important. Um, these days, a lot of people seek jobs, a lot of people develop network, get professionally connected, all that through social media, and it can definitely be used to your advantage. Even Facebook or I mean, LinkedIn is definitely there. Um, even Twitter at times is used for that purpose. Instagram definitely be used. So be very, very careful about what you put up on the social media. But first of all, you have to decide for yourself, is this social media presence for your own professional networking, or is it for sales purposes? You're selling your skills or selling your company? Number three, is it for for job search purposes? Exactly what purpose does it serve? Is it particularly for you to to remain connected with family, or is it a professional circle? You have to be very, very clear about that, and then your policies around, your security policies should then address that issue. I'll tell you one thing. If you ever apply for a job, I can tell you that people do look at your Facebook profiles. They search you through and through and see what you've, what is your hidden side, and that is normally visible through, through your social media presence. I can recall a case. There was this individual who was working in a bank, already employed, and one day he made a very obnoxious political comment, to a political opponent, and that caught the eye of a lot of readers, social media, social media trolls, and that got picked up, and it became it became a talk of the town. And eventually the organization where this individual was working, which was a multinational bank, picked up this conversation, asked that employee for an explanation of why did he use abusive language in public, and just because the bank, the organization, did not want to face the brunt of what that individual had done, even in a personal capacity, they had to ask that individual to leave the bank. So it can be as detrimental, as dangerous as that. Okay, what to talk about? When you're in an interview process, when you're being interviewed, and before your interview, when when you're applying for a job, even before your interview, people do look up and very sort of through social media, if I try to find out what else have you been doing. So if it is LinkedIn, if I were to hire somebody, I'd search the person on LinkedIn. I look at the network, the kind of network that the person the person is linked with. So who are in the who are the connections that he's working with, second level, first level connections. We'll see all that. What kind of conversation is taking place, what kind of comments has this person made on Facebook, for example, what has the person shared, anything which is political, anything which is religious, how has it been worded, right? Is he opinionated? So these are very, very important points. So like I was saying, you have to be very, very clear about what is the purpose of your social media profile. So if it is particularly about LinkedIn, is it for networking? Is it for sales? Or is it for job search? And then accordingly, you have to tailor your introduction. You have to tailor your profile and then put it out. Okay. Number two, if let's suppose you have your purpose of your presence on LinkedIn or social media is networking or knowing people in the profession or connecting with people in the profession. Yeah, if it is that, and would you exercise some care in letting people join your network, or in adding people to your network, or connecting with them, sending requests to connect? What about those individuals who would get up every morning and send you a good morning message, or a good evening message going to bed, or messages which are not really helping you build your network? What about such messages? What would you do with that individual? Would you mute that individual? Would you remove that individual from your group? Look, the point is that when you're adding somebody to your network, or if somebody sends me a request to, for example, to get connected, I would check, what kind of posts has this person made? Do we have mutual friends? Do we have first level or second level connections? Who are the kind of people who are in his network? What benefit will I get by connecting with this individual? So if my purpose is to network, and this person's purpose is to network as well, right? Will I get that advantage? Will I get connected? Will I, get a chance to develop a connection with more like-minded people? If yes, I will automatically be drawn in. If no, I will be repelled. I will not think again. So what I normally look at is how many mutual friends do we have? Where is this individual working? Any particular areas visible from what he's written about himself, etc., etc. So that is what I would be very particular about. Once you've added an individual, then it becomes very, very difficult to remove that individual, to unfriend, etc. And then that gets noticed. If it gets noticed, then you're in a difficult situation. Okay, so be very careful about that. And what I would suggest is, like I said, write 3 introductions. Write an introduction on Saturday. Write an introduction for your LinkedIn profile as well. Okay, your Facebook and LinkedIn profile as well. Write an introduction. Okay, so now we're looking at 5 introductions, right? Okay. Any comments about that? Let's see if, where's it's gone. Okay, let's read some comments about it. Sorry, give me a second. Okay. All right, I'm looking at the questions dialog box, and I'm looking at your comments about this. What if you're not really active on social media? Alina said, I think social media, you have to be active. If you're not, try developing a habit, because that's where, sorry, I'm, all right, okay, sorry, I'll share the screen with you. Okay. Yes, Anas, the screen should be showing now. So I was talking to Alina, say, yes, Alina, so it's important that you have some presence. You have to slowly improve it. Like I said, you have to define the purpose first. It has to be very specific. And as per the purpose, you have to then tailor your social media presence accordingly. If it is for friends and family, it could be a completely different profile. It could be a completely different atmosphere, attitude. But remember, whatever you've shared, if it gets forwarded, it still carries your name. So be very, very careful, even within friends and family, when you share stuff. Okay, so be very careful about that. But you'll slowly have to develop it. I would say, if you're not that active, you may not be from the same age group, or you may not be sort of geared to to live in the future. So it's important that you seriously consider it. Okay, what if I changed my purpose? Should I make another account? Murtaza, ideally, yes. An account prepared for one purpose may not fit, or it will be very difficult to cut it to size for another purpose. So ideally, you should have a different account if needed. Okay. In LinkedIn, I'm a different person. On Facebook, I'm different. So how can we manage it? Nadeem, that's very, very usual. Facebook, normally people use it for friends and family. LinkedIn for professional networking. Both very, very important. Like I said to you, I would search up an individual on Facebook as well, and what this person does other than work. What is his thought process? What is he normally talking about? And therefore, I would search that individual there. And for that purpose alone, you have to be very, very careful. Okay. How to approach people on LinkedIn, Uzair? You'll have to do some. You have to sit down and and look for references, look for people who've been looked up. See who the people who would be a useful part of your network, and then add them in. And that's how you roll it out. But when you're approaching people, you should always have some comment available to share with them straight away. So send a message rather than just sending a request. If we're talking about Facebook, so don't just send a friend request, send a message along with it. Okay. I think it's and once the person is connected, I think it's always useful to connect back or to send another message so that it gives a good impression and sort of gives an impression that you were anticipating this connection to be drawn, and it was not just an action that you wanted that person to be a friend. It was a deliberate action. Okay. What if an individual exists on Facebook but do not use it? However, the individual has presence on LinkedIn and YouTube. It's appropriate for a reasonable perceived value. Sorry, Nadeem, I think I agree with your point. There is such a situation, but then I would say if you're present on one particular medium, if you're present there, then that presence has to be very carefully managed, right? Even if it is left alone, even if it is not very active, it still has to be very carefully managed. Okay, don't just leave sight of it and for other people to to see your presence and make an opinion about you. Be very careful about it. Muhammad Mohsin is saying if an individual exists in all right, sorry, I was reading Mohsin's comment. Sorry, Mohsin, I was referring to your comment. Shaharia Noor is saying, can you please explain the self-introduction of for professional reasons would be like? So these two introductions that I've shown to you, the second introduction is for professional reasons. Okay, it is not for seeking job. The first introduction that it shared with you was for seeking a job. So that's the difference that I want to see in your approach. Okay. Next up, Hasnan Mahmood is saying, isn't LinkedIn enough for digital presence and professionals? I mean, Facebook and other mediums are a bit private. That's perfectly all right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So if your professional needs are served through LinkedIn and other platforms, that's perfectly okay. But still, even otherwise, for on Facebook, be very careful. Like I said to you, be very, very careful what you write on other social media platforms. Very thought-provoking. I'm not a frequent user, but yes, I'm very careful about who I add, and I'm particular about adding people who I know. Alison, thank you very much. I think that sort of says it all about its importance. How to approach people on LinkedIn? Uzair, I've answered this. Presence on LinkedIn objectives are collaborative connections, knowing what skills people have in the same profession, and knowing the gap. And the last but not the least, it's personal branding. Anas, golden words. I think that's exactly spot on. perfectly describing the purpose of your LinkedIn presence. Would randomly adding people on LinkedIn that are part of your field fine? Iman, I would not recommend that. Randomly, no. Unless you know what benefit will you get by by their addition to your group. I don't think. I would not want to remove anyone later, and I will then have to take the responsibility of what other people write in your about you or on your profile or on your page. So you have to be very, very careful. Okay, having too many contacts on LinkedIn, is it fine then you're not even contacting normally other? As long as, I mean, having too many profiles would mean the person is very social. There's nothing wrong with that. But the content that I would read from your page or from your wall, that would matter a lot, right? So therefore, adding the type of people who would, who would contribute more, adding the type of people through which you can expand your network more. Again, like I said, imagine what would the other person want from your company on social media, and if it's serving that purpose, automatically people will get drawn in. If it's not serving that purpose, automatically you're doing a disservice to yourself. Okay, would you please advise on 5 types of introductions as mentioned? Maruf, you've just explained a couple, so that example is still in front of you, right? Think about it, and that's an exercise that you can now go and do. So when you come back on Tuesday, we will, discuss and give you some more examples. Okay. All right. Let me quickly read some other comments, and we then have to move on. Okay. I like to connect with people with profiles which can add value. Exactly. I would agree, Rida. Do I need to be afraid of decide to remove someone? Yes, Murtaza, I think it's not a very pleasing situation when you're removing people from your network. It's not a pleasing situation at all. Muzaffar Hussain, should people of different professions be added as LinkedIn connection? Why not? Inclusion, diversity, it is a value, and I think it should be the case. However, your objective has to be very, very clear of why would you want to add them. If adding them, if you have a plan, a strategy in your mind, if adding them would help that strategy, why not? But if it is not helping, then I think maybe avoid it. And last of all, having our office friends on LinkedIn with different skill set, like developer, sales manager, etc. Again, I would not mind that. I think your colleagues, at your workplace, they're normally good, good company that you would want to keep, and therefore some interesting information about your organization may also flow there. But then, Nadeem, I'll repeat it again. Be very careful if it's a group with your colleagues added to the group. You have to be doubly careful. So not a single misfire, and otherwise, you shoot yourself in the foot. Okay, how frequently should we post on LinkedIn? I think more the merrier, but then should not be so much that people get offended. So I would say about 3 to 4 posts in a week should be enough, but really meaningful, sensible posts. If you have a very big network and you want to do more than that, then make sure that they're very, very relevant and interesting posts. Okay, they're not just forwarded posts or that people will find find elsewhere as well. All right, so next up, we are going to discuss desired lifestyle, what and why. We're just going to spend about 10 minutes doing this, and then we have to move on. So what I want you people to do next is think about what lifestyle, and it has to be very, very specifically, ascertained. Think about what lifestyle will you want to have, and try and answer the what question and the why question. Why would you want to have that lifestyle? Okay. Then for goal setting purposes, set a time frame to it as well. Okay. Many people, I mean, I was having this conversation yesterday with members. Many people would want to set a 1 year goal, a 5-year goal, and a 10 years goal. So after a year, they'll set another year's target, and then another year's target, and then revising the 5-year target and the 10-year goal as well. So what I want you to do is use the SMART terminology. So while defining your goal, you have to be specific, you have to be measurable. The goal that you set has to be achievable, but not overly achievable, and not very easy that you should be able to achieve it all, very easily. R is realistic, and T should be the time frame that you would set with it. So think about a SMART goal, a desired lifestyle, and try to answer the what and why questions. So I'm once again going back to, yes, exactly, Mursa, thank you very much. So once again, going back to the questions dialog box, and I would want to hear your goals, okay? So you can type them here, or you can also raise hands and speak up, okay? All right, so now we are waiting. In the meanwhile, I'll have a look at Feroz. Yes, Feroz is there. Feroz, can you, if you can hear, can you show yourself? You can unmute yourself and also help me in answering some questions, please. Thank you. I'm not sure how your internet connectivity is at the moment, but
hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, Feroz, we can hear you. Can you show your camera as well? Is it switched on?
I tried to switch it on, but it had some problem.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyways, I've already introduced you to the audience. Feroz Mohammed is my colleague who will be helping me deliver the 6 Digits program. Me and Sajid, by the way. Sajid will hopefully be available next week. So Feroz, people are talking about recording links. We'll have to regularly, at least on a weekly basis, after 2 sessions, we'll have to keep sending them the recording links, or at least put them in a shared drive where they can just go and download the recording links from a document. So we'll have to make such an arrangement. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you very much. All right. I haven't seen anything written. Goal setting. What and why? Your goals. What and why? Mohsin will talk about it. We'll talk about it. Let's stay focused on what we are discussing. Goals. What and why? I think the one particular reason why we want to do this exercise also is that whenever you are, in the process of setting a goal, whenever you are, you are in a, in a decision-making situation, this terminology of how, if you're start asking yourself this question, how will that be possible? How will that be achieved? How will that be done? Just as you start thinking about how, you have this tendency of either deviating from the core decision, or otherwise getting into too much detail, which will disrupt your thinking process. And that is why we're doing this exercise, to make sure that you very clearly understand, what is the goal setting process, and what are the 2 key questions that you to ask yourself when you're setting a goal for yourself. I think Mohsin has raised a hand, made a comment as well. I'm going to unmute Mohsin, and I'm going to read the questions as well. Mohsen, you are unmuted. Okay. Adil said, let's see.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, hi. I want to establish myself as an entrepreneur, so I have set a plan to work in an accounting field at different companies.
Do business and earn money and then work for my own dreams. Okay, what and why? Smart objective. Okay, Shaharia, please try to improve this if you can. I'm happy that you mentioned you would try to be an entrepreneur in the field of accounting, earn money, and then work for my own dreams. These are the two generic terms there. Okay, try to make it more specific. Remember, smart. All right. Sorry, coming back to Mohsen. Yes, Mohsen, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum. Do you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
So the what part relates to the selling of the apartment. I have to sell 2 units, inshallah, within a month. And the why part obviously related to the financial perspective. So that's it from my side. Inshallah, I would do this within a month.
Time frame?
Within a month, inshallah.
Within a month. Okay.
Inshallah.
And that's the monthly plan as such. I go.
Basically, that's not a monthly goal. No, that's not a monthly. Yes.
The time frame is 1 month.
Exactly. The organization where I work, we have given the opportunity. We have certain units left, so employees are given the opportunity, so they can sell other than the selling stuff. So the thing which I identified, this will develop 2 things. One, my selling skills. Another thing, the financial perspective, the reward side. So that's a challenging one, and something which will pay me off. So I take this challenge.
Okay. But in the longer run, your goals are going to be improve your selling skills so that you can achieve a certain level of sales for by the end of the year. And where would you want to see yourself by the end of 5 years? Think about those 2 elements as well. Okay.
As far as the selling side is concerned, not selling the apartment. However, at the time of after 5 years, inshallah, I'll try my level best to be the company secretary.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you very much. Asad Rafiq, I'm unmuting you. Mohsen, can you please put yourself back on mute? Asad, please go on.
Please confirm, can you hear me or not?
Yes, we can hear you.
My goal is to be a strategic position in a multinational organization in next 5 to 7 years. Why I want to be there is, as I already told in yesterday last session, that the ability ACC has developed in me is a critical thinking. So I think to be in strategic position of any organization, critical thinking is the core element which you should have. I think, as far as according to my opinion.
Okay. So if you can come back to your goal, critical thinking is a quality. If you come back to your goal, what would be the? I mean, analyze your goal. If as smart, is it smart? Specific, measurable. I see the measurable element in there.
The measurable element is that I want to be specifically. I want to be a CEO. I want to be a CEO in any other multinational organization. And as far as the measure is concerned, I keep analyzing myself according to my performance in ACC exam, and then in professional life I am going to start articleship after giving next 2 papers. I think that after going into professional life, I think I will start measuring my goal next.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Asad. Keep working on this and set time frames accordingly. Like you said, like we discussed, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. Think about those. And, in the coming days, we are going to do a very specific exercise. We are going to use a model to look at your goal setting process, right? Park activities in there, right? And set timelines.
Yes.
So it's not just, I mean, you should not just be that, all right, I want to be the company secretary or the CFO or CEO of this organization by such and such year. It will also include what do I need to do today in order to start the process of, going to become a CEO by the end of 5 years. What should I do
Okay.
today? What should I do in 1 month? What should the milestone be in 6 months, in 1 year? And if I'm falling short of that milestone, what do I need to do more? What if I get detracked? Is there a contingency plan? What if things don't go in my favor? Uh, you know,
Okay.
uh, Natural calamities like COVID can hit anytime, and they're disruptive. They disrupt your plans. Do you have
Okay.
alternate plans available? Okay, which we call contingency planning. So think about those as well, and that's how you'll come up with a complete document. So, but right now we're just setting that process right. We're just starting to
Yes.
think about goal setting and starting to think about asking the what and why questions. Okay, and later on
Okay.
we are
Okay.
going to do much more about this as well. Okay, and we're also
Okay.
going to
Thank
include
you.
the how question. Thank you very much. Let's
Thank you
very
so much.
quickly look at what some other individuals have written. Okay, Aisha Munir is saying in these uncertain times, financial stability is of most importance. Okay, Aisha, convert that into a goal. Ask what and why questions. Adil, in a year, I want to start my own side business so that I can have more income stream. Adil, you have to be specific. This is very vague. You have to be provide more detail, be more specific. So how not to deviate and not go into details. Murtaza, just avoid the how question. Okay. So when you say, what do I need to do? What is my goal? Why is it my goal? Right? How do I achieve it? Just as you start talking about how do I achieve it, you get detracked. Okay. So ignore the how part at this stage when you're setting yourself a goal. Okay, when you start to think about achieving it, that is when we bring in the how part. That's how we ask ourselves these questions. I agree, Athar, but please do set a goal for yourself and share it with us. Muzaffar is saying, I want to be a part of the higher management within 5 years and acquire the required skill set and tool set. So Muzaffar, can you please define this term, required skill set and tool set, relevant to the industry? I want to solve complex business problems and contribute to the community. Okay, so Muzaffar, make it a bit more measurable. Okay, so add, more specific details about it. Okay, otherwise I think it's in the right direction. Ellison saying, I want to be an effective leader in the organization I work for. I want to build a healthy work environment for my colleagues and subordinates. So is Ellison, is that your personal goal? What and why? Why is this your personal goal? What do you get from it? If it is just doing work for the community, that's one purpose as well. But how does that impact you? Remember, smart. Okay. Mohsin Siddiqui, I think we have spoken with you. Akash, can we please have a recording the file? Oh, all right, Akash. I've already asked Feroz to share the recording links on a weekly basis. Kamarul Hassan saying, I want to join a company with good growth and apply the knowledge and experience gained throughout the year. As a result, I grow with the company as well. Kamarul Hassan, fine, you may not want to disclose the name of the company here, but when you're setting yourself a target, it has to be very, very clear. Which company? What is the scale of good growth? Define it, right? Apply knowledge and experience. Which particular aspects of knowledge and experience? That's how you make it more specific. That's how you may make it measurable. In the coming year, I want to become financially stable with a work-life balance by continuing. Iman, please, specific, measurable. Okay, these are the two elements we're continuously missing. I can see a number somewhere. Aish probably has written a number. Let's read that one as well. Planned for a chain of cafes and few retail business in 10-year tenure. And why? Who was this? Sashal. Why this? What would be your goal from this? I mean, um, break even, profitable, financially sustainable, right? Is that a part of the goal? So make it measurable, please. I want to be a businessman in the field of choir production by 2025. Monthly profit should be rupees 500k. Excellent, Aish. That's very specific. That's very measurable, right? And okay, you haven't. All right, you've said that you want to do it by 2025, so it means but 3 years time. Excellent. That's how specific it has to be. People have a look at what Aish had written, so and try to make it as concise and clear as this one. Hasnan Mahmood is saying, what I want in the long-term goal is to be the CFO of an esteemed group. Esteemed group or define, can I please define the term esteemed group? I'm going to do this to get myself exposure. Excellent. Why? How I'm going to do this? I mean, how is to be avoided? How is not to be asked? I mean, the two questions were what and why. Okay. So you say why I'm going to do this is to get myself exposure of the entire organization at different levels and accumulate and apply the knowledge learned as much as I can. I think you really meant how, but try and answer the question why at this stage, goal setting stage. The minute you go into how, you're going into unnecessary details. Pooja is saying, I want to be an external auditor in the coming year and start e-commerce business. Measurable. Pooja is, if just starting the business is good, will that define achievement of the goal? I think this has to be followed up with, what happens 2 years after that, what happens 5 years after that, etc. Alina Seher is saying goal to become a business analyst within 3 years because I enjoy turning data into information. Okay, a bit more measurable, please. I mean, once again, have a look at what Aish had written, so very specific. I'm going to skip a few and we're going to jump to the last two. Will we be able to download the Mohammad Wakas? Yes, we will try to provide you with the handouts, etc. Just give us some time, we'll get to that. Okay, last one is Ikra Shahid and says, I want to become an audit partner of a big 4 firm in the next 10 to 15. Be specific, Ikra. 10 years or 15 years? As audit always has been my passion. Excellent. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. This, I mean, the practical purpose of doing this exercise was mainly to talk about two very important questions that you should always ask yourself: what and why, right? And also to highlight the fact that whenever you start talking about how, you're going into finer details, and that is something that others may not be interested in. That is something that will probably should be there at the back of your mind only, because you may have analyzed the entire goal for yourself, but you always start with what should be my goal and why should that be my goal, why not something else. Okay, so let's very quickly jump on to in fact, let's see another video now. It's an 8 minutes video, and from that video you're going to look at once again you know, how much of the time did this person in the presentation was talking about what and why, and how much time was spent on how. Okay, so just view that, and then when we come back, we'll have a little bit of discussion and then we go on. Okay, so once again, if you are unable to see this video on your screens, that may be because your internet connection may not be helping you. So what you have to do is look for new Shark Tank $12.5 million deal. New Shark Tank $12.5 million deal. Search this on, please search this on YouTube, and you should find this video. So I'm now going to put myself on mute and going to play this video for you. Please listen to it carefully. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, we are not going to start discussing this right away. I want you to go back on Saturday. Watch this video again in the meanwhile. Yes, Hassan, impressive, but there were negative things happening in there as well. Two of the shark tanks, two of the sharks opted out. Okay, so and the comments made, yeah, trust. Listen to it again, and that was the part of the video that was played again in slow motion. So you hear that very, very clearly. Okay. If you've not been able to hear that, it's a video by the name New Shark Tank, $12.5 million deal, the biggest ever. I'll just show you the name once again. Okay, come on. New Shark Tank, $12.5 million deal, biggest deal ever. Okay, so that's the name. Okay, so you have to watch this video again, and the next thing that you're going to do on Saturday, other than those introductions, the 30-second introductions that you have to write, is to analyze this video. Okay, what percentage of the time were the two entrepreneurs, the startup owners, were talking about what and why, and what percentage of their whole presentation were they talking about how? Okay, so that should give you a very clear idea of how much detail are you going to go into when you are doing board presentations, when you're doing presentations on business ideas, when you're talking to your line manager in the organization, or you're making a presentation to a group of officials in the organization, reflecting on a business idea. What percentage of the time do you have to spend on what and why, and when do you bring in, if any, conversation on how? So that's the last activity, the third activity that you have to do on Saturday. Okay. Mohsen is saying, is it necessary to attend the Saturday classes? Mohsen, yes, it is. It's going to be loaded. If you want to get the maximum benefit out of this conversation, just listening to me is not going to be good enough. I mean, it's this work that you have to do which will make you get to the goal that we have set for this training. Yeah. So please remember that, and it has to be, it's ideal you do it. If you're not doing it, of course, there'll be a question raised at the end. We'll see whether you've attended those Saturday sessions or not, whether you should be qualified for getting a certificate or not. Remember, the objective is not to earn a certificate only. The objective of this training is to reach that mark. Your salary scale, it would be increased, within the range of 100,000 going up to 999,000, 999,999. So that's the the goal that you'll have to set for yourself. Now, once again, I'll repeat the work that you have to do on Saturday. You have to write 3 introductory statements, first of all, for 3 different types of introductions, or 3 different types of 3 different purposes: networking, professional, and job-like. Okay, 3. And then you have to write another one for your social media, for your LinkedIn page, right? So you have to write these. You have to rehearse these. You have to remember the Amin Tufani video. You have to, you have to switch on your microphone, your camera. You have to deliver it the same way. You have to deliver that confidence. You have to exuberate, passion, strength, positive choice of words. You have to showcase all that. Okay, and then on Tuesday when we come back, we'll ask the group leader, how was it like? And then we'll ask the group leader who will be, who was the best, presenter, and then we're going to invite that person to share the, share the introduction in the group on Tuesday. Okay, and then secondly, you have to watch this video again. The what and why questions, you to find out, how was the entire presentation laid out, what percentage was spent on what and why, how much time was spent on how much detail was provided, did they share their actual formula, the physics part, they just mentioned sound waves, etc., to produce the foam, and that's it. They didn't go into any further detail, right? So how much of the how question is supposed to be answered? Okay, so that's your assignment for Saturday. Feroz is going to be there. Feroz, you'll have to start the meeting on Saturday. I'll share the links with you, and I'll do the setting in a way that everyone with the link will be able to join in. So go back to my email that I had sent to you earlier, for which I had asked you to keep that email safe. Go back to that email, look at the Microsoft Teams link, use that at 6 o'clock Pakistan time on Saturday. Of course, in Bangladesh it will be 7, and in Sri Lanka it will be 6:30. Who would be the group leader? Iman, you'll have to decide this yourself. I want to see coordination. I want to see that you very professionally take that decision. Okay, I know there will be initially be crosstalks, there will be too many people unmuting the mic, right? So you have to very sensibly, very carefully take that decision, hand over the floor to that individual, and people who want to be the leaders should go prepared. They should have a plan in mind on how is this to be best achieved. Okay, and then hand over the baton to the next leader. So next Saturday, the one after this one, there's going to be another leader who's going to do the same. And therefore, since we have 18 sessions, we'll give an opportunity to 18 different people. Okay, so this in itself is going to be an excellent experience. So I think we've run out of time. Thank you very much. Any other concerns, questions? We can very quickly look at a couple and then we'll call it a day. Repeat the assignment last time, please watch the recording. I've already done that about a dozen times. 3 introductory statements. First one is professional, the second is job seeking, third is networking. Fourth professional introduction is for your social media presence. Fifth, watch this video again and dig up the what part, the why part, how was the presentation laid out, what are your comments, what was that negative point because of which 2 individuals, 2 sharks opted out, right? And we'll come back and discuss this next time. Thank you very much for joining in. No problem, Waqas, you're most welcome. All right, Murtaza, thank you very much. Intrinsically motivating. You already started using positive words. Thank you for that. That's very impressive. Okay. I think that's all. Any feedback about today's session? Anything that you want improved, changed, brought in, taken out? Do share your comments about that as well. Recording, I've already asked Feroz to take care of. Feroz, if you can please, I would say have a Google Drive ready and put a file there which we regularly update. So anyone who wants to, and we're going to put all the course content, all the presentations, the slides, in there, so you can access this very easily. Okay, thank you very much. Still looking for your feedback. How did you like today's session? Thank you very much, Alison. You enjoyed yourself a great deal. Muzaffar is saying smart. Okay. Okay, the first session was negative lens for me. All right. Okay, lovely session. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thoughtful session. My pleasure. Thank you all very much. I think this is enough feedback. I'm still a bit concerned about, I'm not getting everyone to speak up. I mean, this disruption has to begin. I still see quite a lot. I mean, I think that but 30 to 35 individuals are regularly putting in their comment, but I want everyone. And next time we're going to see who does not. And we're going to pinpoint them and bring them in and get them to talk. So that's how we're going to generate the maximum interest and benefit from it. Okay. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you as well. Pleasure having interacted with you. Thank you very much. Take good care of yourself and enjoy the rest of the evening. Bye-bye.